So, if you want the best German GT car that has a lot of character and soul, and you have a bit of money behind you, then you are going to want a Porsche. Now, when people say Porsche, what car do you think of immediately? You think of this car, the new Porsche 911. Well, it's been updated to keep it relevant, so let's see what it's all about and let's have a look to see what's new. And if this is still the car you should go for if you want a Porsche. Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Cars and More. This is the #1 place to be for car news and reviews. Sit back, buckle up, let's go. So, starting from the front of the new 911, and the changes are minimal as usual with Porsche. So we get a new bumper design on all models, and on this model it looks like it has gills from a fish, which I will admit at first I wasn't sure about, but it has actually grown on me quite a lot. All new bumper designs give it the sporty edge, which makes it look much better than before. Also at the front we get a new set of headlights that now look like they look very similar to the Taycan headlights whilst keeping the round shape, which I quite like. Moving around to the side, as facelifts go, there are no changes to talk about. Again, this is usual with facelifts, as nothing structural usually changes. We do get some new colour and wheel options now, which is quite nice. Moving around the back, however, and we do get some changes. To start with, the taillights now don't have this J pattern in them, but a singular bar style, just like what the new Panamera has. This gives it a modern look and the ability for Porsche to give it a bigger LED light bar, giving it more of a retro feel. The bumper is also new round the back and it is much sharper than before, giving it a sportier feel, completing the modern facelift. But as facelifts go, it is quite minimal, but then again it is a Porsche 911. It really hasn't changed over the past 61 years. Anyway, jokes aside, let's have a look at what engine and gearbox options you can have with the new Porsche 911, as there are some big changes to talk about, especially some electrifying changes. So, the model range of the new Porsche 911 consists of 5 models. Let's start with the first one. This is called Carrera. This uses a 3-litre flat-6 engine and it produces 389 brake horsepower and has a 0 to 62 time of just 4.1 seconds. And this carries on all the way to 183 miles an hour. Power is sent through an 8-speed automatic PDK gearbox to the rear wheels. The next version is called Carrera T, and the T stands for Touring. This uses the same 3-litre flat-6 engine and has the same power at 389 brake horsepower, but the 0 to 62 time is less at 4.5 seconds. This is because it uses a 6-speed manual gearbox, but the power is still sent to the rear wheels now, but this does mean that you can have some more driving fun. The next version is called Carrera S, and again this uses the same 3-litre flat-6 engine, but this time the power has been increased to 476 brake horsepower, and this reduces the 0 to 62 time down to 3.5 seconds, and it carries on all the way to 191 miles per hour. Power is sent to the rear wheels through an 8-speed automatic PDK gearbox. The next version is called Carrera GTS, and this is the interesting one as it is now a hybrid. This uses a new 3.6-litre flat-6 engine with a small electric motor, and this is mainly used for performance rather than efficiency. It has 538 brake horsepower and a 0 to 62 time of just 3 seconds, with a top speed of 194 miles per hour. Power is sent to the rear wheels though with a new 8-speed PDK automatic gearbox. This is where the hybrid motor lies. The final version is called Carrera 4 GTS. This is basically the same as the GTS with the 3.6 litre flat 6 and 538 brake horsepower with a 3 second 0 to 62 time, but this time it sends its power to all four wheels. In the future there will be a turbo version as well as an updated GT3 RS, as well as possibly a Carrera 4. So there are even more to come. The price of the new Porsche 911 facelift starts at £99,800, which isn't that bad, and the base 911 Carrera will actually do most people. Right, let's have a look at the interior. So, climb inside the new Porsche 911 and we get a sense of familiarity about it. The general interior layout is the same as before with the same shelf-style dashboard. We do get a newer infotainment system though, and we also get a new instrument cluster. The instrument cluster now gets rid of the analog rev counter, which was iconic, but this does make it feel much more modern. And you can also have better customization with the instrument cluster too, as you can either have 3 dials or 5 dials. The centre console is the same as before, which means you get some physical climate control buttons and essential switches. The steering wheel again is the same as before too, but it is more customisable. One notable feature is that the start-stop key has been replaced with a button though, and this is a shame as this was a classical touch that I quite liked. Finally, there are some new materials around the cabin to keep it fresh, and to keep it modern too. Right, let's have a look and see what the rear seats are like. So, getting into the back of the Porsche 911, and there is no surprise that headroom is almost non-existent, and so is legroom. I could possibly do a short journey if the front seat was all the way forward, but it wouldn't be a nice place to sit. It's mainly more for small children as it does have Isofix, or it could be used for storage, which is what most people will use it for. Also, the person who buys this Porsche 911 will most likely have a second car that is practical anyway. So the practicality doesn't really need to be the best in this car. If you want a practical Porsche, then you would go for the Panamera, Macan or Cayenne. Right, let's have a look at the boot, but as it is a Porsche 911, let's go round to the front and see what the boot space is like. So, opening the boot and you are welcomed with 132 litres of boot space. Now, this may not seem like much, but it is just about enough for a weekend bag or anything maybe slightly bigger. But let's be honest, again, this car isn't going to be used for practicality. If you want to put anything big in the car, then you would most likely put it behind the front seats, as where the redundant rear seats are. So, in summary then, what do I think of the new Porsche 911? Well, it's a Porsche, isn't it? The facelift isn't big on the outside, but it does give the 911 a hybrid powertrain, bringing it bang up to date, and to be honest, I believe that people will want to have that model, as it is the one model that makes it look like you have a facelift in 911. Whilst the other models are great, non-car people may not notice that it is a facelift 911 just because of how subtle it is. Some people may be okay with that as they can go under the radar, but some people would want to stand out, especially if you do have a 911. Overall though, it is still a great car, and if you have the money, this is the car you should go for. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.